Pisces, your November 2022 horoscope. November is going to be a pretty interesting month for you. You have a lot of energy that's difficult, I would say, and probably more prone to feeling like you need to be of service to others and having a harder time setting boundaries when it comes to some of the self-care that you need for yourself. So this is going to be a really important time for you to kind of reflect on ways that you can meet the needs of the people that you share yourself with in a way that is fulfilling for you, while also not sacrificing too much of yourself in a way that feels burdensome, I guess. The November 8th lunar eclipse at 16 degrees Taurus is going to impact the way that you see your self-worth in energy exchanges with others. And so you might feel, if you've got a really positive relationship with your lover, or if you're married, your partner, this could be a really positive time for how you connect with that person. But if you feel like you're not having equal exchanges of energy in that way, especially when it comes to finances, shared resources, things like that, this is going to be a time where those conversations need to happen, and you might be reviewing those energy exchanges. So, your finances are a big theme. If you need help financially, or if you're giving financially, the way that you're negotiating those things will be a theme. And then the way that you value yourself in those negotiations is going to be a theme. So it's important that you have your own back, and that you make sure that you feel like you're, you know what you're worth, and you know kind of what is an appropriate energy exchange. Pisces is not the best at boundaries. So a lot of times you will say yes to things that you don't actually want to do. That's not good. So, this Taurus eclipse might be kind of pushing and challenging you to set some boundaries with your energy exchanges. This is a good time for you to practice it. So don't say yes to anything. Don't sign up for anything that you feel like you can't realistically, energetically do without, if it's gonna drain you, or it's gonna take away from other things, it's not a good thing to do. If it's something that you genuinely want to do, and it feels like a fair energy exchange, then that's great. I know this is very general because it's a horoscope. It's not as individual as if we were looking at somebody's chart, but the houses that are impacted have to do with energy exchange, and especially when it comes to financial resources. So if you're working out an inheritance, or you're working out a loan or investment, any kind of things like that, that's a big theme for the first half of November. And it's not afflicted in a negative way, but because we have the eclipse energy there could be some unexpected hurdles that you have to kind of figure out, and just look at it as a good challenge to help you learn more and grow more around things that, maybe you're more avoidant of. This is a great learning opportunity when it comes to how you manage your time, your money, and any shared resources that you have in the family or marriage that you are potentially in. If you're not married and you don't have any ties to your family finances, this might have to do with personal loans, investments, property. Some of the signatures in the Pisces chart sometimes come up when people are refinancing or having some luck with money. But again, there's an eclipse there, so there could be some unexpected things that come with that. Could be good, could be bad. It's up to the individual and the chart that is happening on an individual level. By the last half of November, we're in Sagittarius season. We have that new moon at 1 degree of Sagittarius, and that's going to be an interesting time for you. You're going to probably see yourself changing maybe some of your perspective on how you have done things in the past, and being open to learning kind of some new version of doing things. You might also feel very inclined to take a trip or go out of town. That's supported in this chart in terms of, sometimes we can change our perspective or belief system from gathering new information about it, or taking a class or learning something. And sometimes we gain that perspective from physically going somewhere else and learning something, or just getting away from our mundane reality. So you're inclined towards something like that the last half of November. Going on a trip, or gaining some other perspective to develop a larger understanding around a subject matter that you've been dealing with over the last month, and the last month being the first half of November and last half of October potentially. Let's see, what else do we have? We've got the Mars retrograde that's happening right now, and that's going to be impacting you in the area of communication and family dynamics. So again, the family dynamic and kind of some of the shared resources within your family are just a big theme for you in November and over the rest of the year. So that could be interpersonal relationships with the people that live under your roof. It could be the people that you're biologically related to. It could be your in-laws. But either way, you're going to be working on communication and the perspectives that everybody has within the family dynamic. And because, you know, it's a Mars retrograde, it's not easy. There's definitely conflict, and it definitely pushes you to have to reflect maybe on some of your previous belief systems or thoughts around how you've, you know, perceived certain dynamics and figured out where do you need to stand up for yourself, where do you need to be receptive and listen, where do you need to set boundaries. Pisces, again, like I said, has a hard time with boundaries. So, you know, a lot of Pisces dominant people that tend to drink a lot or be more prone to addiction, a lot of times it's because you have a hard time setting boundaries for yourself when you're triggered around things that you feel like you can't control. And Pisces often feels out of control. So it's important for you to find ways of setting boundaries or gaining space and distance away from things that are stressing you out to that extent, and having conversations with people about what you can and can't do for them, and not feeling guilty or shameful about saying no to things. So saying no is a really important boundary for a Pisces dominant person. And it's hard. It's hard to do that for yourself with things that you escape through, whether that's substance abuse or food or TV or social media. But there's healthy ways that we can escape, you know, meditation, transcendental meditation, spiritual practices, maybe music, playing music. Those are all really good things for a Pisces dominant person to do as a healing exercise away from mundane reality or triggering events. So if you find yourself getting really drained from family dynamics or a financial circumstance that you're actively pursuing, giving yourself adequate time and space away from it to rejuvenate and replenish in a healthy way is going to be really important this month. You know, the holidays are hard for everybody, and obviously we have Thanksgiving at the end of the month, and I'm sure there's some other holidays for other cultures happening at the end of the month too. And so it's important for you that, since there are some afflictions around family happening specifically in the chart of Pisces, that you mentally prepare yourself for, you know, how you're going to emotionally handle those things. Maybe you don't go out of town, you know, for Thanksgiving this year. The chart says you probably will be around family, or, you know, in those dynamics. Maybe you're supposed to be. Maybe this is a positive time for you to work on some of those communication dynamics that you've avoided in the past. So it might be a little combative, but it might need to be in order for you to set boundaries that you failed to set in the past. You know, the people that really love us in our family that will continue to show up for us will also respect our boundaries if we set them. And if they don't, then, you know, we need to work through that for our own healing. So it's not a negative month for you, but it might be difficult to navigate some of those dynamics. And, you know, unfortunately, some of those family dynamics are going to, that's a very Mars theme for you. So that's going to be carried through the rest of the year. So just kind of get in that mode where you're ready to find constructive ways to navigate some of those conflicts that might come up. So yeah, that's your horoscope for November 2022. Good luck.